Support staff at Confederation and colleges across the province remain on the picket line looking for a new collective bargaining agreement. Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo alongside Haley Perreault. Thank you for joining us. It's now day 3 of the OPSEU support staff strike.
Union leaders say their members are still in high spirits on the picket line. Justin Hardy spoke with picketers today, as well as a few students. He joins us now in studio. Justin, how are those students reacting to the strike?
Haley, there is still a lot of support despite some disruptions. Students say it's caused some serious delays getting to class and a lot of disruption to campus life. But those we spoke to still support the striking staff members and believe the temporary headache will be well worth it.
If they don't get treated properly, how are we going to get treated properly?
Union picketers are stationed at all 3 entrances to Confederation College's campus. There, they're stopping everyone entering campus to talk about their fight and hand out information leaflets. And bus stops have been moved off campus. These delays are the biggest concerns the students we spoke to raised, though there is still support from the student body for the support staff.
The picket lines are pretty brutal trying to get in the mornings, and when we leave as well, it's, they hold us up for a good amount of time, so it's not too good.
It has mostly affected the transportation thing. Before I used to get very close to the building. Now I have to walk all the way from outside of the campus, so it takes around 10 to 15 minutes more.
The people taking over don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're trying their best. And I 100% support the picket line and everything going on.
OPSEU SEFPO Local 731 President Owen Smith says the response from students has been for the most part positive.
Yeah, I've been on the picket lines Thursday, Friday. I've been in the office today doing other administrative stuff, but yes, the student response is very positive and they want us back in the building. At this time, the bargaining team is still ready and willing to go back to the table, but the College Employer Council has not reached out.
Students are urged to exercise caution when driving near the picket lines, especially after a few close calls.
Unfortunately, Thursday morning, I almost got clipped by a motorbike. Somebody didn't want to stop, so I had to step out of the way at the last minute. Yes, and there's been several instances, so I am in meetings with the college, and we are trying to make sure it is well known. Just please respect the picket line.
Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Thunder Bay OPP continued to investigate a fatal single-vehicle collision on Highway 527 near Trowbridge Road yesterday morning. Officers responded to a vehicle in the ditch around 7:30 a.m. The driver and lone occupant was pronounced dead at the scene. OPP say the name, age, and gender of the deceased are being withheld at the time due to the, quote, sensitive nature of the incident.
A northwestern Ontario mine is being sold to a Vancouver-based investment firm, bringing a sense of security to the neighboring town. Marathon Mayor Rick Dumas believes the pending purchase of Hemlo Gold Mine by Carcetti Capital Corporation bodes well for the future of the mine. Barrick Mining Corporation has reached an agreement to sell the mine for up to $1 billion US. The deal includes cash, shares in the renamed Hemlo Mining Corporation, and payments linked to the gold production over 5 years. With more than 700 jobs that rely on the mine, Dumas believes the sale is great news.
If I was to be looking at myself as a business person buying in an asset that had only a few years left of my life of mine, I would certainly not be investing that kind of money. So I believe that the investment is a good, solid indicator for the town of Marathon that we're going to have a long future in the mining sector. And we're looking forward to those years going forward. And how does that look for us as a community? And how does that look for them as a corporate citizen? And how do we work together and make sure that the jobs are secured?
Barrick's president, in a news release, says the sale of the mine, quote, at an attractive valuation, marks the close to Barrick's long and successful chapter at the mine.
The Prime Minister announced last week that his new Major Projects Office will receive some guidance from an 11-member Indigenous Advisory Council representing First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people across the country. The committee includes only one person from Ontario, and he's local.
No doubt, as you can imagine, my phone's been blowing up a little bit, with chiefs and leaders, allies across the country. My job is to talk to Indigenous people, to talk to allies, to kind of take the information in. I'm sure I'm going to get earfuls from the left to the right to the whole spectrum, and my job as a leader is to bring that information to the table.
JP Gladue is a member of BNA, or Sandpoint First Nation, on Lake Nipigon. He says Bill C-5 made for a rocky start to the relationship between Indigenous communities and the Carney government, but he sees this council as a way to make room for Indigenous leaders in the decision-making process.
You know, when we think of in this country, there's plenty of examples where Indigenous prosperity has succeeded, where land has been protected, where jobs have been created, where equity has been formed, where oversight and leadership and ownership have all come to the table across the country. Let's build from that and see if we can accomplish some of that here, particularly, you know, as a Northern First Nation guy who grew up in Thunder Bay, you know, to bring some of that success to the region.
Carney has announced the first 5 projects the new office will review. None of those are in northwestern Ontario. But with the likelihood that the Ring of Fire will come up, Gladue says his time as a Noront board member and his connections with chiefs in the area will serve him well.
There are questions about the future of the Ontario Liberal Party today.
Leader Bonnie Crombie has announced that she's resigning after a weak show of support at the party's annual general meeting over the weekend. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the story.
Bonnie Crombie's exit as Ontario Liberal leader comes after less than 2 years on the job. Only 57% of delegates at the party's annual general meeting wanted her to stay. Crombie says she decided to go after speaking with her family, the party executive, and her caucus.
People were there in a supportive way to support their friend and their colleague. And she asked them for their advice, and they all gave their advice individually. I'm not going to say what that advice was.
But Liberal MPPs reject any whisper of a revolt or an effort to push Crombie out. While more than half of the Liberals who voted wanted to stick with Crombie,
it was a tough election campaign. She did her best.
Liberals now say going forward with a new leader is what's best for the party.
If we really want to make the inroads with Ontarians and actually have a chance of forming government in the next election.
The Liberals are entering their 3rd leadership contest since the Wynne government's defeat in 2018. There are some existential questions to consider.
Who they are and what they are, because what we just saw happen doesn't necessarily help the party and strengthen them to take on Doug Ford. They're basically starting all over again.
MP Karina Gould, who ran for leadership of the federal Liberals this spring, has been mentioned as a possible Ontario contender. So has her caucus colleague, Nate Erskine-Smith. He came in second to Bonnie Crombie in the leadership contest in 2023.
He's someone that I think has a special ability to, number one, communicate in this day and age to young people.
Erskine-Smith coy about the possibility of pursuing leadership again.
I got no idea what the future holds for me exactly.
Political analyst Scott Reed says for Liberals, it's less important to pick a new leader quickly than to pick well.
What the party really, really needs is someone who can light the lamp, someone who has the political talent to break through, to get noticed, to take the fight to Doug Ford.
Though there needs to be time to attract good quality candidates.
Because this party cannot afford to keep coming third, or it may not be around to compete elections down the road.
CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. Motorists are being asked to pay attention to construction signage as water main improvements are underway on Walsh Street between Nebing Avenue and Commerce Street. The city is extending the water main on Walsh Street to meet up with the existing main on Nebing. Currently, the Walsh water main comes to a dead end. Officials say the work should improve service for users. The big project is expected to take about 2 weeks. Drivers are urged to obey signage in the area. Local businesses on that section of Walsh are still accessible, but only from the east. Walsh is completely closed at Nebing Avenue to the west.
Hundreds of residents laced up their running shoes for the annual Terry Fox Run yesterday around Boulevard Lake.
Families, community groups, and students joined together to carry on his legacy and fundraise for cancer research. Emma Chilton was there.
It's the 45th anniversary since Terry Fox ran his Marathon of Hope, raising money and awareness for cancer research. Participants gathered at the Current River Community Center as the event started with a ceremony inspiring everyone to walk, run, or roll, the route to raise funds. Chair of the Thunder Bay Terry Fox Run, Dom Morrison, says why it's important to hold this event.
Well, personally, I've had cancer has impacted my family. Both parents passed away from cancer. My brother passed away from cancer. So that's one of the reasons I'm involved. But it's a great community project for the city. Everybody knows the story of Terry Fox and what he's done. So to keep the run going every year is the main driver.
Many wore T-shirts honoring the iconic Canadian hero and dedicated their run to loved ones affected by cancer. The event not only raises funds but also keeps Terry's dream alive, with participants carrying his message forward with every step. Morrison says he's optimistic about the amount of funds raised this year.
Traditionally, we raise in Thunder Bay about $40,000 a year for Terry Fox, combination of the run here as well as through schools. Now this year we also had the Terry Fox hike at Sleeping Giant, which had 120 participants and raised $24,000 there, so I suspect this year we'll do pretty well.
Donations to the Terry Fox Foundation can be made online at terryfox.org. Emma Chilton, TBT News.
The law enforcement torch run took place at Chapels Park yesterday. The event raises funds and awareness for Special Olympics in Thunder Bay. Local athletes were in attendance, along with local and provincial law enforcement agencies, both civilian and in uniform. The event was led by Keith Nutley of the MNR. The funds raised from the event in large part go to transportation, accommodation, and general travel costs for the Special Olympic athletes from Thunder Bay. They depend on that support when competing outside of our region, especially when going to provincials or to nationals. Everyone involved expected a great turnout for a great cause, and that's what they got. The event was a big success.
It's a fundraiser for Special Olympics. It's to draw awareness. It's a bunch of law enforcement officers, locally, provincially, nationally, and worldwide, raise money and awareness for Special Olympics and promote inclusion of athletes with intellectual disabilities. It's a fun opportunity, again, the interaction of officers and athletes, and the big part is to draw awareness to for Special Olympics and the inclusion, the acceptance of athletes with intellectual disabilities.
I'm excited. It's something I've been involved with for about 10 years. With the Thunder Bay Police Service, I've taken more of a lead role in the last 2 years. I'm very excited to be here, and the main thing for us is just raising awareness for the community as a whole, with any type of skill level, and just getting the community together and having everybody a fair opportunity to come out and support each other.
Walking with friends is always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun.
It's enjoyable, and we get to spend time with each other.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very proud to do all the sports.
Anyone who wants to donate to Special Olympics Thunder Bay can do so on the organization's website.
The local Rotary clubs and partner organizations held their annual ceremony yesterday recognizing World Peace Day. The peace ceremony was held at the Tai Chi Gardens at Marina Park and featured speeches, songs from local students, poems, and a floral tribute to the Peace Pole. The president of the Fort William Rotary Club, Jody Phillips, says the Rotarians have a significant role to play in peace.
Peace is not doesn't happen by accident. It takes all of us working together to work toward peace, and Rotary has a whole avenue of service around peace building, and we have peace centers across the world, and we have a significant role to play in peace. Many of our focuses work toward that end in many ways. So focused work on youth, focused work on the environment. We are trying to build an environment where peace is possible in all that we do.
The Rotary clubs have many different programs that focus on bringing peace and unity to the community. Well, there was certainly no shortage of great events happening outdoors this weekend, and leading into today, another beautiful day.
Yeah, it turned out a lot better than originally anticipated. We had a lot of foggy periods and a lot of gray skies, but the sunshine kept battling through, and that was the case again today. It's all about the overnight fog and mist that we wake up with in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the sun comes out. So we had a low of 14. That's how we started the day, but we topped out at 22 and a humidex of 26. That's with winds, we'll call them relatively light to moderate, 11 up to 20 kilometers per day, or per hour today, coming out of the east. Now, if we take a look what has been moving through in the areas to the west, we've got this system that is rotating around and has been pushing in over the last few hours. This is radar, so this is what has actually been happening. So there are showers just on the other side of the border, just starting to push their way in. Despite that, lots of sunshine today in Fort Frances, just a few clouds at this hour, but they're under a thunderstorm watch, as is Kenora and up into Red Lake. There is that potential with that system moving in, or moving just so close to those areas to the west. But temperature-wise, very warm day. 28 at this hour in Fort Frances, 29 in Dryden, Atikokan, Sioux Lookout, Pickle Lake, Red Lake, Kenora, just a little bit cooler at 26. The humidex today has been between about 34 and 36 in most of these areas. As you head further east, it's a little cooler, but remember, this is September 15th. They should be seeing daytime highs around 15, 16 Celsius. Well, today at this hour, we're at a high of 25 in Greenstone, 24 in Armstrong, humidex sitting at about 30 at this time, so well above normal for this time of year. Nipissing Marathon, no humidex, and it's a little bit cooler with the winds coming in off the lake. They're at 21 Celsius, 22 in Wawa, and 24 in Sault Ste. Marie. Mostly cloudy, but the humidex still topped out at 28 a couple of hours ago. I think now they're around 27, so really hasn't moved much. It's still a beautiful night on the eastern shores of Lake Superior. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we will drop down to a low of 12 this evening and partly cloudy skies, but once again, we've got those fog patches developing overnight. But if you thought tonight or today was warm for this time of year, you ain't seen nothing yet, at least in Thunder Bay. That heat that they've been experiencing to the west, coming our way, and I'll have more details on that later on in the news hour.
All right, thanks, Fiona. I know we always think of the start of a new school year as the start of the fall season, but no, it is still in fact summer, and we are getting a reminder of it right now.